In this lesson, we're going to learn a little bit of grammar, which is underpinning the counting with masculine and feminine nouns, 1 to 12. Now, it may sound complicated, but I'll try my best to simplify it. In Arabic, everything is divided to masculine or classified as masculine or feminine. Now, when we are counting, all the numbers, they have masculine version and feminine version. For instance, you have wahidun, that's one, and that's masculine. Wahidatun, that's one, and that's feminine. The principle is the number 1 and the number 2, they come after the noun. They act like adjectives, so they match in gender. If you want to say one boy, you can simply say waladun, that's mean a boy, or waladun wahidun, one boy. Bintun wahidatun. Let me write that one for you before we get involved in this. So waladun, that's a boy. Waladun, a boy. Wahidun, that's one. So wahid, number 1, comes after the noun, so it's acting like an adjective. So they have to match in gender. Bentun, that's a girl. Bentun. Wahidatun. Again, they need to match in gender. Bentun, a girl. Wahidatun, that's one, and that's feminine version. Hence, we have this ta marbuta, which I explained previously in one of the lessons. Now, number 2 is the same way. To make any noun to become dual, 2, the pattern, as I explained previously, is ending ani or aini. So waladun becomes wa, la. This one we put a, extend with the alif, and then ni. So we have this ani ending, waladani. That becomes 2 boys. And that is default, nominative, waladani ending. If you want to say 2 boys, it's already as it is now, it's 2 boys. It's like you want to emphasize, you use 2 the same way. You say waladani if nani. That's male version of number 2. So ifnan, you say wahidun ithnani, 1, 2. So a boy, 2 boys. Without using the number, it's already been achieved, 2 boys. But for emphasis, you say ithnani, it comes after the noun. It doesn't come before the noun. That's waladani. Or instead of ani, you can have waladaini if grammar point dictates that. Waladaini this time, aini ending. Instead of ani, becomes aini. Waladaini. So these also need to match. You say if nai, so you instead of alif becomes ya. Nay ni. So waladani ithnani, waladaini ithnaini. Bent is the same. If you want to be 2 girls, you do the same ending. Ben ta ni. Just as you put ani here, you put ani here as well. Ben tani. Then this ithnani will become feminine version. If ithnatani. That's here ithnani. That's male version of number 2. Ithnatani. That's female version of number 2, which is default. Now, ithnaini, if you want to say, it becomes ithnataini, another version of 2 girls in the genitive or accusative form, which you will know much later, is ben tay. So instead of alif, you put in ya, bentaini, and then this will correspond as well. If na tayni. Bentaini ithnataini. So that's the foundation. Number 1 and number 2, they're always the same in gender as the item or the nouns been counted. Always. Wherever number 1 or number 2 is mentioned, they must be of the same gender as the noun being counted. Why am I saying this? Because after that, number 3 and above, number 3 to number 9, it is opposite. Right, let's take it easy. Number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. When you are counting, they must be in opposite gender to the noun being counted. What am I talking about? Right. Let's say you want to say 3 boys. That will be different from this. First of all, number 3, the number now needs to come before the noun. So it's not an adjective format anymore. That's why they are not corresponding in gender. So number 1 and number 2, they come after the noun, if you have to use them. But number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, they come before the noun. And they need to be opposite gender of what you are counting. If you want to say 3 boys, you mention number 3 first, and that's 3, you use feminine version of number 3 to count boys. If you are counting girls, you say 3 girls, you mention 3 first, and that 3 needs to be masculine gender, masculine version of number 3. That's what I mean by, if you are counting item 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, the gender must be opposite. You use feminine of those numbers to count masculine, and you use masculine to count feminine. That is the setting. I know some people say, oh, why all this? That's how it is, I'm afraid. So that's why we need to take it easy. Right. The stage has been set. Let's now see what's happening here. Bear with me. Don't go anywhere. Okay, now let's see. Let's first of all look at the vocabulary that we're going to be using to reinforce the points I've just explained. Thaniyatun. Thaniyatun means second. Thaniya. So I'm going to write it. Thaniyatun. 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 Can you see what's the gender of this word now? Thaniyatun. Clearly, it's a feminine, because when you see ta marbuto, this type of ta, when you see it at the end of word, you can say 99%. You can just say this is feminine word. Right. Thaniyatun. So a second. So a second in Arabic is considered to be feminine. ثوان, that's a plural. Seconds. And you write it, let me write it here. ثوان. ثوان. That's plural. That's seconds. دقيقة. Minute. A minute. دقيقة. دقيقة. A minute. Plural is دقائق. 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 Now, a note for you. It is wiser, it's the best thing to do when you are learning a singular noun or adjective or any word you are learning Arabic. It's better, it's a good practice to learn singular and plural at the same time. Because plural starts from 3. Dual, you have the formula to do that. Any or any ending, as I've just explained. But plural is better when you look at dictionary or somebody is teaching you, say, oh, this is singular. What is plural? Learn them together. Like ثانية ثوان دقيقة دقائق. Because the pattern is it's all over the place. ساعة, that's feminine as well. An hour, it can mean also watch, clock. ساعة. ساعة. Plural, ساعات. ساعات. Plural, ساعات. Hours. يوم. يوم. A day. Now, that's masculine. There is no ta marbuta at the end. So that's masculine. Yawm is regarded in Arabic as masculine word. Ayyam is plural. Ayyamun. Ayyamun. Days. Now, we set the stage. Now, دقيقة واحدة. 1 minute. دقيقة, remember, دقيقة, that's a minute. If you want to emphasize, you mention number 1, fine. If you say دقيقة, it's understood already, it's 1 minute, it's a minute. But if you want to use the number with it, that number comes after it, and they must be the same gender. Because دقيقة is feminine, your number 1 must also be feminine. دقيقة واحدة. Okay. يوم, that's masculine. Your number 1, if you want to use it, must be male, and it must be after the noun. يوم واحد. So دقيقة واحدة. يوم واحد. دقيقتان. 2 minutes. It's understood already. But if you want to use number with it, then it must be the same pattern. دقيقتان. You say, just it's feminine, as we said before, in بنتان اثنتان. So دقيقتان اثنتان. We have بنتين before, you can say دقيقتين if that's required because of grammatical point. يومان or يومين, that's 2 days. If you want to use number with it, you say يومان اثنان يومين اثنين. Now, let's now have a look at it. Number 3. If you then want to say 3 minutes, because minutes is feminine, you have to choose a female version or feminine version of number, male version of number 3. Because daqiqatun, you want to say 3 minutes. Minutes is regarded as feminine word in Arabic. So therefore, number 3 must be of male version. Hence we say thalathu, not thalathatu. Thalathu is male version of number 3. You say thalathu daqa'iq. Then you use the plural. Thalathu daqa'iq. Here you want to say 3 days because day is masculine. You have to use feminine version of number 3. Thalathatu ayyamin. So thalathu is male version of number 3. Thalathatu is female version of number 3. So when you are counting female item or feminine item, you use male version of number 3. And if you are counting something which is masculine, you use feminine version of number 3. Number 4, arba'u. Arba'a. Arba'u, that's a version which is male, masculine. Arba'a, that's feminine version. So daqa'iq, as you know, daqiqatun, that's a female word. A minute, it's a female, daqiqatun. It has ta marbuta at the end. So when you are counting that, you use male version of number 4. Arba'u daqa'iq. But ayyam, which is days, day in Arabic is male, is masculine word. So therefore we're going to be using 4 in a feminine version. Arba'u daqa'iq. Arba'atu ayyam. Arba'atu ayyam. The same thing will be for number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we say khamsu daqa'iq. As soon as I say khamsu, which is male version of number 5, you know that I must mention female noun after that. If I say khamsa, this is feminine version of number 5, I have to mention male noun as ayyam. Khamsu daqa'iqa. Khamsatu ayyamin. Sittu daqa'iqa. Sittatu ayyamin. Sab'a daqa'iqa. Sab'atu ayyamin. ثماني دقائق. ثماني دقائق. 8 أيام. 9 دقائق. 9 أيام. 10 دقائق. 10 أيام. Having explained the rules governing number 1 and number 2, followed by the rules governing number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, now we need to explain the rules governing number 11 and number 12. So number 11, we'll use the ahada as number 1. Say ahada, ashara, ahada, ashara. As soon as you start with ahada, which is masculine number 1, we know you are going to count masculine item. So ahada عشرة, we're going to say يوما. يوما. Because that yawm is a masculine word, a day. So 11 days. أحد عشر يوما. If I want to count something which is feminine, say 11 minutes, for instance. دقيقة is minutes, as previously learned. So 11 minutes, I will use feminine version of number 1. I will say إحدى, and then I will say عشرة using feminine because 10 is part of another number. In this case, it will be the same. دقيقة. So دقيقة. دقيقة. إحدى عشرة دقيقة. So إحدى عشرة دقيقة. أحد عشر يوما. 11 days. And this is 11 minutes. Let's now move to number 12. Number 12 is the same rules in this case because number 2 will always be the same gender. So we're going to use masculine because we're going to count days first. We will say إثنى we're not going to say إثنان. We're going to remove the noun. So say إثنى عشرة. إثنى عشرة يوما. يوما. That's masculine. That's masculine. 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 We're going to do feminine now. This is إحدى عشرة دقيقة 11 minutes. We're going to do 12 minutes now. So we're going to use feminine version of this إثنى. إثنى تا. And then عشرة in this case will be feminine. عشرة دقيقة. دقيقة. Hallelujah. So إثنتا عشرة دقيقة. That's feminine, feminine, feminine. Feminine, feminine, feminine. If you are counting 11 and 12, everything must be of the same gender. If you're counting something masculine, walad, you must choose number 1, which is masculine, and then number 10, which is masculine, and then walad, obviously is masculine. If you want to know more details on this, you can look at this noun itself. It becomes singular with 2 fatha on it. That's a singular, but it's accusative now. But never mind the accusative, just put 2 fatha on it. And دقيقة, دقيقة, يوما, and يوما. Now the next stage is counting with masculine and feminine nouns to 13 to 19. As I mentioned earlier, these numbers, there are 2 numbers. 13 you have 3 and then 10. 14, 4 and then 10 and so on. So we need to look at those 2 numbers separately to see how they work, how they interact. If you are counting feminine, this is feminine nouns, daqiqa, minutes is feminine. If you are counting that using number 13 to 19, the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 aspects of those numbers, they need to be in masculine version. Masculine version. Whereas the 10 part of these numbers will be of the same gender, feminine. Hence you have the ending ashrata, ashrata, that's 10, ashrata, 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 ashrata. But when we are counting something which is masculine, like a day, yawman, we see that the first aspect of the number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, they are in feminine format, opposite to the noun that we are counting. Hence you have ثلاثة, أربعة, خمسة, ستة, سبعة, ثمانية, تسعة. And number 10, part of these, they are of the same gender, masculine, ashar, and so on. So let's go through it now. Number 13, counting feminine, ثلاثة عشرة دقيقة. Counting masculine, ثلاثة عشر يوما. 14, أربع عشرة دقيقة. Counting minutes, that's 14 minutes. Counting masculine, 14 days, أربعة عشر يوما. 15 minutes, خمسة عشرة دقيقة. 15 days, خمسة عشر يوما. 16 minutes, ستة عشرة دقيقة. 16 days, ستة عشر يوما. 17 minutes, سبعة عشرة دقيقة. 17 days, سبعة عشر يوما. 18 minutes, ثمانية عشرة دقيقة. 18 days, ثمانية عشر يوما. 19 minutes, تسعة عشرة دقيقة. 19 days, تسعة عشر يوما. So this is in line with the rules that has been established previously. So I hope you'll be able to revise that and put your number together from number 1 to number 19.